Hello YouTube, it's Sean from Sean Says Hockey here, back with another old video from my retro gaming channel. So about a year ago I uploaded a season preview with my Canadian cousins Brian and Blake. Yeah, it's been on my old channel, but I'm due to record a new one for the 25-26 season with, again, Blake and Brian in the coming weeks. In fact, Brian has just told us that he's actually heading back over to the UK, so actually going to be able to record it with him sort of live, which is going to be amazing. So yeah, so he's coming over, but I thought I wanted to drag that old file onto this channel as well. So it's now been deleted off of my Pompey Games Room retro gaming channel, and it's now just on here. So I've reformatted it a little bit. So yes, it is a season old, but yeah, I just wanted to have something on this channel to be able to track the season sort of previews and some of the guesses that we made as to what might happen. But it was great fun to make. I called it the 3311 podcast, which is actually the miles from Portsmouth to Kanata, Ontario. I sort of did a logo and stuff, pretty crude logo, but yeah, I will attach that on here so you guys can have a bit of a laugh at that. But anyway, it was good fun to do on the retro gaming channel, but now I've got this channel. It's massively out of date, but I just wanted to add this onto the channel here. So if you're looking back in sort of a few years time, it won't stand out as much as it now does, if that makes sense. So anyway, without further ado, let's head back in time a year and see what we thought the Ottawa Senators would do in the 24-25 season. Hello Blake, how are you doing?
I'm great, Sean. How about yourself?
I'm not gonna lie, we've recorded this once already. I've got it on my phone, but I don't have it on the laptop, so we're doing it all again. We are starting again. We lost about 20 minutes, I would say. But anyway, Blake, how are you doing, mate? You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Good. Well, so straight away, we've already done this, so it's totally ruined. But anyway, Blake, do you know how far away you are from the Canadian Tire Centre where you are? In miles.
In miles. Okay, a Church of England here. I'm going to guess 10 to 15 miles.
Well, you know what? You've absolutely nailed that. Absolutely nailed that. Blake,
really?
You are 13.5 miles away. So we're doing the same thing that we did for the channel name, for the video series name, the 3311, which I've explained in the earlier part of this video, which I would have shot the following day because I don't want to spend 20 minutes again entering the video. Yes, so do you know 14 and 13 numbered players for the Senators that could represent your channel name?
Oh, I'm going to have to go back here. Radek Bonk for 14.
14? Yeah, to be fair, you did get Radek Bonk the first time round, so we can give you that anyway. Can you remember 13s?
13, not Fisher. Fisher was 12. Oh boy. Yuri Sminkel from a late season.
Yuri Sminkel, yeah, that's good. I'll take that.
And ooh, I'm drawing a blank here. That's all I can think of.
Good. The only other two I've got are Prospal and Nick Paul. So they were probably just before your time. Nick Paul wasn't. I think it was about 2016. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Nick Paul was a decent player actually. So you did a few games last year, didn't you, Blake?
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? You said earlier it was about 10 or 12 games over the season.
About that, yeah, I would think.
So when you were there, so did you notice as the season went on that it sort of the fans started to lose a bit of, like, literally, because last year everything was so promising, everything was going to go well. We had the goaltending sorted, we had like everything sorted. We had Chikrin was playing for us as well. It was all golden. I remember being over there, which we'll touch on in a minute, in about a year ago today actually. I was over with you guys. I remember being over there. It was all so positive, and it just went so wrong. Did you notice throughout the months that you were going to the Sens? Because I think you went pretty much once a month at least. Did you notice that it sort of, the actual tension was getting, like, it was degrading and everyone was just turning on the team?
I felt like a lot of people were turning on the coach, on DJ Smith. Now, I'm not going to chant. I heard a lot of fire DJ chants, but I'm not going to root for somebody to lose their job, even though I feel like they might deserve it. But that's the reality of being a coach in the National Hockey League. You get hired to get fired. Every coach has a shelf life, unless you're Scotty Bowman and you win your last cup with Detroit and you retire a champion. But that's a pretty exceedingly rare circumstance.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And also, you were there for a few of the fan giveaways last year, weren't you?
Yes.
So what sort of stuff did you pick up? Because I heard about the bobbleheads. Was there
I
anything else given out?
got a Chucky bobblehead, Brady Chuck, and I got a Tim Stützle bobblehead as well. And I was there for Star Wars night.
That was the other one.
Yeah,
I was trying to think what it was.
I was able to get my hands on that Star Wars themed puzzle.
Wasn't it the first like 3,000 people got that or something? It wasn't a lot, was it?
Exact number.
Oh man, I bet they go on eBay for a fortune. I've seen some of the bobbleheads on eBay, but I have held off buying one at the moment. But did you go to any of the FanFest things and stuff, like to pick up any merchandise out of like the game used stuff?
I did. Some of that might get sent over to you, by the way.
I'm going to give you a budget next time. I'm going to plan ahead and I'm going to send some money over and just say, look, just go nuts. Just buy whatever you want, okay? I just need some stuff sent over. So we will do that. I will make sure I set a note for next year to do that. So they happen at the end of the season, right? Just around the draft and just before the season starts, from memory?
For FanFest?
Yeah.
Well, the preseason FanFest was this past weekend, which I went to on Saturday. And I sat in on you were able to sit in on a practice, which was really nice.
Yeah, which you sent the footage. I'll put the footage in
practice
here.
like it's a real game, and Travis Green was running them hard, which I like to see. Same thing with Alfie. Yeah. Alfie was running them hard as well.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's the one thing I'd say. I mean, the footage would have been in here you sent me, and you had. It looked actually like, it looked like a proper game scenario that they were in. So it looked pretty decent. So well, I'm going to be stoked to hear what you're going to pick up at the because apparently they've got more promotions coming this year. So we'll see what happens there. But
World Juniors coming back to Ottawa in December.
Yeah, isn't it? The Senators are playing on the road for 13 games in a row to allow for the World Juniors over Christmas.
Roughly a month. Roughly one calendar month between home games at the Canadian Tire Centre.
Oh man, are you going to get to any of the World Juniors?
I want to, but Hockey Canada is being a little bit greedy with the ticket prices.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So there's only two locations. There's being Canadian Tire Centre is the main location for it. But the other spot is going to be the rink at TD Place, where the Ottawa 67s of the OHL play.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. Okay. So what sort of money are they talking about? Because we see that over here for certain England games, the soccer sort of team, going to Wembley, there's like a Band A, Band B and Band C. So if you go see a Band C game, it's like £20 cheaper to go, at least. Is it similar to that? So certain nations, like, it would be a lot cheaper.
Well, let's put it this way: it's more expensive than when the Leafs are in town. Let me put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Even for mid 300 level, lower 300 level seats, it's crazy expensive. And I believe the last time the tournament was here was for the 2009 tournament. Mm-hmm. Which Canada handily won by beating Sweden in the gold medal game. That was a pretty cool game. I remember that 09 team. Oh my god, that team was stacked. They had Dustin Tokarski, who by the way is on a PTO right now with Ottawa.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I saw he's with them at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. You had in the semifinal game against the Russians. I'm trying to think of his name now. I can picture him. Oh God, I can picture him. But anyway, scoring with, I think it was 5.5 seconds to go in the third period by the game, and then you go on to win said game in a shootout to go to the gold medal game against the Swedes.
Wasn't it Yakupov who went to Edmonton?
No, this was before Yakupov's time.
Was it?
Jordan Eberle. It was Jordan Eberle who scored to tie the game.
Right.
With about 5 seconds to go in the third period. And then
I feel like it's on the tip of my
Gord
tongue.
Miller's call was then subsequently ruined by Pierre Maguire.
Not the first time that thing's been said, I'm sure. So
no, and it won't be the last.
Won't be the last. Anyway, Blake, thanks for joining us, mate. Let's get in Brian.
Hello.
Again, Brian. I can't believe we're doing this all over again, and it's all down to me. So, Brian, in fact, we did forget to do this part the last time around.
We did.
So, Brian, do you know, like I just said to Blake, how many miles away you are from the Canadian Tire Centre? Roughly.
I think I'm about 3,500 kilometers away.
I'm going to go here. So I'm going to tell you that you're 200.
Okay, just tell me.
2,303 miles away from the Canadian Tire Centre. So if we are going by those numbers, the players that you've got to choose from are pretty immense. So is there anyone you can remember who's worn 23 and 3?
Oh, number 3. Wasn't that Sami Salo?
Sami Salo is one of them. Yeah.
And then number 23, I couldn't tell you.
So you can either have Travis Hamonic from this year.
Okay.
You can have Karol Rakunik. You can have Zdeno Chera for number 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a few.
I would definitely take Chera. I would definitely take Chera. Chera, I do Chera and Hamonic. Yeah, I do Chera and Hamonic.
You've not got a bad selection there. I
thought Chera was 33 when he was with Ottawa.
You know what? I thought that. I was looking and I was trawling, trying to think. I definitely have a Chera jersey and it's 33, but it's free.
Oh.
So I know I'm exactly the same, but it's because he's worn 33 at the Islanders, Boston, and yeah. It's so weird. I thought that. I was trawling through my old programs trying to find a 33 jersey because I, obviously with 33.11 for mine, I was going to be like, yeah, you know what? Jason York, Pascal Leclerc, Zdeno Chara. I was like, so I would have got that horribly wrong if I'd just gone with my memory because it was not right whatsoever. So anyway, I had that jersey out and I forgot to show that last time, so I'm glad we're sort of doing this again. But anyway, so everything happens for a reason, eh? So anyway, so as we touched on, Brian is up in Revelstoke, so he is a long way away from the Canadian Tire Centre. But you managed to watch a few of the sort of the other leagues last year, didn't you? So you saw TJ Gindler a few times for Kelowna.
Yes,
Spokane Chiefs.
My wife and I split our time between Revelstoke and Spokane. She's American, works as a firefighter. She's badass. We're walking distance to to where the Spokane Chiefs play. So I got to watch TJ Gindler play against the Spokane Chiefs, TJ Gindler and the Kelowna Rockets, I should say, play against the Spokane Chiefs. And the first meeting in Spokane was a physical affair. There were a lot of fights, and I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. TJ Gindler, I think he got like over 15 penalty minutes assigned to him that game. I don't know what happened in the game in the previous meeting between the two teams, but it sure made for some entertaining hockey.
I gotta admit, I was really hoping we got TJ Gindler in the draft, just so, because the glowing reports he had given him, and also he really picked his game up from Christmas like this year. Just gone, and like I remember just after I came back from Canada, when I came over to surprise Brian, they came back for he and his lovely wife Joanna came back to Ottawa basically for a second wedding, and then I surprised them at the house, so I got to hang out with Blake for a little while as well, so we sort of caught up, and we actually went and saw Sen's game, which we were all happy to attend. We saw, it was actually about a year ago today that we went, not today, but about a year ago, and we went to see the Canadians versus the Ottawa Senators in a pre-season match. It went pretty well, even though they lost. I really enjoyed it. We had some amazing seats.
That was great.
Pictures from when we went. I mean, we weren't what was it you said earlier, about 8 rows back? It was something ridiculous like that, wasn't it?
Behind the bench, the Ottawa bench.
Yeah. There we are. I touched on this a minute ago. We got photo bombs. Just looking back now, we got photo bombs. Some Montreal Canadiens fan in that. But yeah, it's hard to believe this was like a year ago. it was fun times had by all, and I think that all rekindled our love for the Ottawa Senators then as well. So sort of, especially for Blake, he started going an awful lot after that. So
and I'm going to the home opener next Thursday evening.
I was just about to ask, are you planning to go to the home opener? Was it quite easy to get hold of tickets?
It wasn't terrible, although unlike last year's home opener when I was 4 rows behind the glass for when they played the Flyers, I am in the first row of section 324.
I was lucky enough also, obviously being in sort of Europe, I was incredibly lucky to be able to go to the Global Series, and I managed to see the Alex DeBrincat hate up close and personal, because I had a seat literally like in the front row, and that was my view with Corpusalo, and you know we've got Bernard Dorker and stuff that are coming out there, but literally I was literally on the I'll probably put some video in here anyway of it, but I was literally right by, that is my seat literally, and then I was lucky enough also to meet Chris Phillips, which was amazing at the sort of Global Series sort of fan park. The Sens TV guys were around, and they came up to me and asked if I wanted to be recorded, and they gave me an amazing Jacob Chikrin hat, which is aging pretty badly as I look at it now. But I think they asked me if I was planning to stick around for the second game, so I only went to the Detroit game, and I said that I had to get home. Unfortunately, I had a family bereavement that day. So I was going to come home anyway, so that was a bit of a shock out of the blue. So I would have come home anyway. But literally, this was shot just before I got a phone call to say, you know, something had happened at home, so I had to come home, which I was going to be coming home anyway. But I was pretty sure they were going to offer me like free tickets to go to the Minnesota game, which I will never know what they offered because I don't think anyone else could stick around. So the video that I was on the Sens YouTube channel. They interviewed me and stuff, and I got to meet Chris Phillips there, which I got closer to Chris Phillips there than I got to Daniel Alfredson, even though I was sitting on the aisle where they came out. I put my hand out for a fist pump with Daniel Alfredson, and he gave me this nervous sort of like, oh, I would love to, but I would have to sort of fist pump everyone else, and he let me down. He let me down big time. So I'd always live literally rejected by Daniel Alfredson. That is my that is something I don't think I'll ever truly get over as a Sens fan. But anyway, so So guys, the season just been a bit of a car crash, wasn't it? Let's just put that to the side now. That is all done. In the past, the Corpusalo project didn't work, and there was many things last year that didn't work, let's be honest. And but is there anything you want to say just on last season before we get into the new season? 24-25 is where it's at, and things are going to change from now on.
Just before you get to that, that's how close I got to Daniel Alfredson.
Oh, that's just showing off. Literally, I got probably about I can't top that. I can't top that. That was when you worked at a bike store, right?
That's when I worked north of Ottawa. He came into the store and he'd put on some weight, and I didn't realize it was him. And my opening line to him was, "Has anybody ever told you look like Daniel Alfredson?" He told me, "I am Daniel Alfredson." My inner 9-year-old was like, "Oh my God, it's Daniel Alfredson!" Oh!
Here, sign this saddle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. Blake's going to pull out a picture on his phone now of him meeting like Alex DeBrincat, which we can all go. No chance, Blake. You've lost this.
Yeah.
Mate. So let's move on. Last season is last season. Managed to get to a few games, and we've rekindled our love of hockey again. Not love of hockey, but just being able to see it and stuff. And we all reconnected through seeing the Sens as well, and sort of me coming over to see you guys again. But anyway, we are moving on to the new season, and we're going to start off with transactions, what we all think. So let's just touch, first of all, Linus Ullmarks' new lid that he's wearing. Absolutely insane mask design. It reminds me of there's two standouts for me personally. What did you guys think of the unveil of the mask?
I absolutely love it. I think it's a great throwback to when Patty Lalime was the go-to goalie for the Senators way back in the day. If I remember correctly, not that it's related, but in a game in, I think, late 2001. Patty Lalime got into a goalie fight with Felix Potvin in a game right before Christmas. And but then I thought, you know what? He's got a few modern twists to it with on his mask. He's got what I can best describe as stick figures for him and his wife and their 2 children, which I thought was a pretty nice touch. But Marvin the Martian on the crown of the mask, I thought, you know what? That's primo. That's who knows? Maybe it'll help us help it bring us back to the promised land. We'll see.
Who knows? Speaking of promised land, I promised you guys some footage. Let's watch the Sens versus the Leafs on NHL 24. I updated the rosters. We're going to have something playing to the side of us here. Our faces are pretty, we know that, but we wanted to put something else on the screen that just, adds a bit of spice to the video. So, the sound isn't on here, so the guys can't hear it, but the footage that's on this video will have sound, but it's just too much feedback and stuff. But anyway, so there was a Leafs versus Sens game here. This was amazing to record this game. I let it play whilst I was doing a few office admin tasks in the morning. I let it play for an hour, and I sent a screenshot of the final tallies. The shots were insane, and it can only happen on a simulated hockey game. It was like nearly 100 shots for each team, but it was absolute chaos. But anyway, I'll leave this going here. So sorry, to go back to the Ullmark mask. It reminds me, I mean, from being in Sweden last year and seeing Korpisalo's mask up really close, that was a real work of art last year. I think that was a really nice mask. Great, he's obviously spent a lot of time, sadly, putting all that stuff together. And how well has he started in Boston, by the way? He's looked really good. He looks like a totally different goaltender all of a sudden. But, they've really shot themselves in the foot with Jeremy Swayman as well, training away Ullmark. I mean, it's absolutely insane how wrong things have gone for them. Like from having 2 elite goaltenders to now having Jonas Korpisalo. It's pretty insane. But he had an absolutely amazing mask last season, and obviously Patrick Lalime, as we've touched on, and also it's one of my favourite masks. It was so simple, but it just looks so cool, and that was Dominic Hasek's mask, just with the cage and the simple Sens logo on it. It's just classy. So what do you think, Brian?
Oh man, yeah, when they revealed that Ullmark mask, it made me feel, it brought me back to when I was 6 or 7 years old, and it wasn't a question if the Ottawa Senators were going to make the playoffs. It was a question of who are they going to face in the first round, right?
I know. It's
back when our problems were struggling to get past the first round and for a few years in a row, which was frustrating.
Yeah.
That's what ended up, that's why we axed Jacques Martin the first time around.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, like it's a beautiful modern take on a instant classic.
Yeah. Beautiful modern take on a classic. That's such a classy line.
Yeah, I literally, while you guys were chatting about it, I was looking at the differences, and it's not a ripoff. It's more of a tribute, and Lalime developed quite a bit as a goaltender. He put up some incredible numbers for a number of seasons while he was with Ottawa, and it's so cool to see that come back.
Yeah, definitely, it is pretty cool. I'm absolutely loving it. I've watched the video a few times as well, so I'll try and get some pictures and stuff in here whilst we're chatting. But so obviously there's been some more additions like Nick Jensen, there's been David Perron, Noah Gregor, Nick Cousins, Michael Amadio, Jan Yannick, who I absolutely love from the franchise hockey manager games. He's such a good utility player on that. Not that that's a scouting report at all, but anyway, he's very, very good on that. But apparently he's a Steve Stais guy, isn't he? So he's been signed to a 1 year, 2-way contract. So and obviously we've got Kari Yakunchuk, who he looks like he's slotted right in. I don't think he's going to stick around the whole season, but I certainly think he's going to stay for the first I suppose Zub's injured as well at the moment. How long is that going to be? He's not participated in any preseason action, so yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. But I can see him sticking around for the first 8 or 9 games and then being maybe sent back to juniors. But he's stepped up. I know it's preseason, but there's people competing for jobs on the teams they're playing and also on the Sens, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's really good. And obviously, players to go. I mean, there's been a whole list of people. Absolutely. But there's been some big names on there. Jacob Chikrin, with my hat. That's going to age badly. We got Parker Kelly and Eric Brandstrom. I don't understand why they let Eric Brandstrom go, particularly because he signed with Colorado for almost like an entry-level deal, and it's like I think he wasn't the best defenseman in the world, but this guy's a high pick for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he was not a bad player last year. He did really, I mean, what are you expecting from the guy? He's still young, and to get him on that sort of a deal, I mean, I think if they had signed him, I think we would have ended up buying out Travis Hamonic as last year. But we've got, by all accounts, Travis Hamonic's coming in really good form. He's really sort of fit this year. He's really he's had a whole pre-season, and he looks like he's ready to go. So hopefully we get a Travis Hamonic back at sort of full strength. But yeah, Parker Kelly and Eric Brandstrom really sort of were head scratchers for me that they let them go. I was a big Parker Kelly fan. I think he gave his heart and soul last year for the Sens. In fact, I would have said he was one of the unsung heroes last year. He came up with some important goals through the season, and to let him go and to see him sign a deal at Colorado for very little, it was a bit of a head scratcher. But yeah, so obviously Korpisalo's gone as well. Rook Chartier, Boris Kachuk, Yuri Smikow, Igor Sokolov, and obviously everyone's favourite, Dominic Kubalik. And obviously Mark Kastelik has gone as well. So yeah, so what do you think of the Sens business over the off-season, shall we say? Were you and obviously Travis Green as well, new coach. What did you think, Blake? What were your thinkings?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My initial reaction to the Travis Green hiring was, his name's not Craig Berube. But
I was the same.
But I thought but then I put my rational hat on and thought, okay, it's still the off season. We have to give him a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things. The names that they were linked with for so long. I mean, the teasing of Patrick Roy as well and things like that. I know that was when Jacques Martin took over and stuff mid-season, but I mean, he totally changed the Islanders when he came in, and I think that's sort of what we needed last season. But obviously those connections with Anlauer, they never really came to anything. But the names they were banding around, and then to get Travis Green, who had been let go by the Vancouver Canucks, and was it New Jersey? Was that as well, from memory?
I believe so. I believe New Jersey before Vancouver.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a stellar record, but let's be honest, those teams are in different eras, different areas of the sort of development of the team. And if he's going to come in and drill this team really well, then maybe things are different this year. You hear he's a bit of a taskmaster and stuff. He likes accountability. He's big on that. Whereas Craig Berube, who I really wanted, I always got the feeling he was holding out for the Leafs though, because I think they would have appointed him much quicker than they ended up doing. Well,
plus the Leafs with money to pay him.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I agree on the Travis Green thing. I was a little bit subdued when they appointed him, but to be honest, you know what? I've liked what I've heard from the guy. In all honesty, I think he's spoken sense, and apparently he's had a lot of sit-down chats with everyone. And yeah, we'll just see where it goes. But what do you think, Brian?
Well, I think certainly the trades that happened this summer were necessary. Ottawa obviously came out of a very tumultuous year. It started off with positive note, new owner, which was great to see. But consistency. Ottawa lacked consistency all year. When they were finally able to get up and fire on all cylinders, they were almost unbeatable. But they weren't. They were not very consistent. Their defense was like a freaking sieve. I'm really glad that we were able to get rid of Mark Kastelik. He was I think his season highlight was when Jacques Martin first came in as the interim head coach, as well as Daniel Alfredson. And I think being a recently married man, we need to give a lot of credit to Daniel Alfredson's wife for allowing him to do so. His season highlight was definitely not finishing a check on somebody and then getting reamed out for it on the bench while being filmed by Daniel.
That was pretty tragic.
It's not hard to toss all your momentum into somebody else instead of turning away from them to go back to the bench all lackadaisy like,
Yeah.
Getting a player like Linus Ullmark is great. I'm always going to butcher his name, but yeah, it's great to see a fresh face in Ottawa's net. But I'm a little bit sad that we got rid of Jacob Chychrun. As a big Chychrun fan, I don't, on the surface of it, I don't think it was the best trade in the world, but I'm optimistic that Nick Jensen is going to be a good player, good defensive player, and consistent for Ottawa. Chychrun outscored Jensen by miles, way more points than Jensen put up last year. And also there's a bit of an age gap. Jensen's, in his mid-30s, and Chychrun is in his late 20s. So we'll see how that fares. I feel like for the longevity of Ottawa's defensive core, I would have rather have seen an extension for Chychrun. But I think in the short-term perspective of gaining more accountability, experience, and consistency, I think Jensen was a good pick. Also, making cap room, just throwing. What was his name? I'm making a mockery. Yeah, Matthew Joseph. Thank you.
Matthew Joseph, yeah.
Yeah, just throwing Matthew Joseph to the wind like that, just without, you could have at least gotten a second-round draft pick for him. And all you got was future considerations. What does that even mean in this business? Does it actually lead to anything?
I think you said first time around, does it mean you get a Christmas card? Which I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Do you get a Christmas card and a box of chocolates for it?
I thought that was absolutely amazing.
Or do all your players get, their own new car or something, like a Honda Civic or whatever?
Future considerations, love it.
Yeah, right. I get it. You had to make. I was looking at the numbers. You needed to make the cap space for Shane Pinto, so you could sign him for a few years, right? But I would have loved to have seen us get more for Matthew Joseph. He was a very consistent player. He's a gritty player. A lot of talent.
He was one player last year actually. Sorry, I'm just going to put my phone on charge.
All right.
He was one player last year that completely changed his game, completely turned his game around as well. So it felt like we just started to see the better of him, and then all of a sudden it was like, he may have well not even bothered because we just moved him on anyway. So it was a bit frustrating that we saw a probably one good year really with Matthew Joseph. I mean, this time last year everyone was like saying, "Oh yeah, get rid of Joseph. There's no chance that he's gonna." Turn it around and things like that. So I mean, it's weird that you say that. I mean, I'm very much in the same camp as you. I was really shocked about the return they got for Chychrun. Now, it doesn't mean Nick Jensen's a bad player at all. I just don't know enough about him. But I think Blake also touched on it in the first time that we recorded. But the Locked On Sens mentioned this as well, because when Chychrun got traded, I remember going to watch the Locked On Capitals broadcast, and I wanted to see just how they were thinking about it and Blake was right in what he said, that a lot of the a lot of the sort of Caps fans were saying like, you're going to love Jensen. You know, he's a heart and soul guy, and you know what? From the pre-season, he's looked pretty decent. Let's be honest. I mean, he's finished checks, and he's always talking out there as well. I've noticed, and especially the Pittsburgh defeat a few nights ago. He just looks, yeah. It's like what they said. They wanted to upgrade. They wanted to get more senior guys involved and stuff. And I think they've done that this year, especially with David Perron, who I'm a big fan of. From seeing the Detroit Red Wings last year play the Sens in Sweden, he was a great player, and he's sort of what you want. And I can see where they're going. And the same also with players like Nick Cousins they brought in. Yeah, okay, he's not the oldest guy, but the guy's won a Stanley Cup, and to have him in the dressing room, he's been there, he's done it. And it's like to get more players like that. But I mean, you know, speaking of additions and sort of additions and subtractions from the playing staff, I can see this being a really, really important season, because you know what? I think if they have a horrible November again, and we're just going nowhere, this roster next year is this season's outgoings are going to fail in comparisons to next year's. I can see Giroux being traded at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
you know.
Giroux's on the last year of his 3-year deal as well.
He's on the last year of his deal, so it makes sense to move him. Kachuk's going to want to get out, because it's like, you know, they can't blame the guy. He's going to be 25 this year. It's a really, really important season, so they have to get it right this year. There's so much riding on it. We've got Ullmark. Now, okay, we've been there before. I remember this sort of fanfare when they got Matt Murray from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they were saying, oh, he's going to be amazing and stuff like that. Now, Ullmark's a completely different kettle of fish. He's been there, he's won a Vezina. I don't think Matt Murray had won a Vezina. He might have, just at the time of talking.
I think.
But you know, I'll be impressed when they start to get these wins on the board. I will never fault their effort and stuff like that. They're a young team, but at some point, that young team every year is getting older, and you can't keep using that whole. Oh, they're young, they're learning.
They're young.
Yeah, they were learning. You know, they're getting older. The core now, I mean, I've seen it being a football fan in the UK, the England team. We've had all the potential in the past 3 football tournaments, the World Cup, 2 Euros. We've gotten to the semis and 2 finals, and we've lost 3 times because they haven't got that experience, but they can't keep using that whole, like, this team is ready. We are just a few additions away. Korpisalo gave up so many goals last year in quick succession. He just had zero confidence, and I just think the breath of fresh air with Ullmark coming in, the aura around that guy, he's so positive, and I think it's good because he and Forsberg are going to be on that tandem, and he's just a positive guy. Well, I don't think Korpisalo was a talker. Never heard him sort of, apart from if he got hit a few times when he would go to the edge of the ice to the officials moaning about something. He would never be chatting to his sort of, you know, the team and stuff on the ice. He was just very, very sort of like focused, but his focus was never good enough. You know, he would get beaten very quickly, and his rebounds were atrocious.
Yes.
I'm saying this, I'm not a goaltender. I play defence, but you know, I mean, I'm not a goaltender or anything. But you know, the basics that I know is that, like, if you're at the NHL level, there's certain things he was not doing last year, and he was losing this game. Ullmark coming in completely different. I just get such a positive vibe from that guy, and I hope that people like that coming into the dressing room, Perron, Ullmark, Cousins, and you know, just Jensen. Sorry, that's the other guy I was trying to think of. It's late over here now, but. Yeah, people like that coming in and just being alongside Brady, and even Timmy now as well. You've got Giroux also there, and you've got Zub, he's getting more experience every year, and Shabbat. I mean, you know, I've got Shabbat jersey on here. He's my favourite player, and yeah, I really like the additions this year. I think they've gotten older. They've got a Mina, and yeah, you know what? I don't think they're going to be outdone as many times they were last year. And to be fair, if we can get even a wild card position this year, I'd be amazed, absolutely over the moon. But that's for future. So, but anything else you want to add?
Yeah,
the transactions first.
The Ottawa's defense core last year. The old man on the defense core was Travis Hamonic. Everybody else was under the age of 29 years old. So,
Quite
you know, JBD, I'm really hopeful JBD has a good season. I think he's got it in him to have a really good season, and to be consistent. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
And another thing I think Jake Sanderson is a very underrated defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Not a lot of people know about him. I think he's obviously
he's not very well known. He's not like Chara. He's not like any or Doughty or any other well-known defenseman in the league. But he's very good on his feet. He breaks up plays like as he's supposed to. And in my opinion, I think he's a very underrated defenseman in the NHL.
I would hope that he plays to his cap hit of $8 million.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. That guy is just—he's totally. Oh, that man! I'm absolutely convinced that guy is. The thing is, once you get to the playoffs, I think more people will notice him because the amount of times that you watch the broadcasts and say like, you're hearing everyone talk about him, and like, but the teams that are coming in, they always. I mean, again, I watched a few of the Locked On podcasts, and I remember watching Locked On Seattle. And they came in and they were raving about Jake Sanderson after the game, saying like they never realised he was that good, and it was so good because he's definitely this year. I mean, he surprised a lot of people the first year he was in, but last year was a real sort of. I mean, it got him the contract. Obviously, it was a contract year, and it's like now he's at the start of this big deal. I think he's only going to get better from here on out, and we just need playoffs. We just need playoffs. That would just be the next step, and then we just go that bit further every year. Once we get playoffs, I'm convinced this team will be. I think
if we're able to play consistently, defensively,
they're not going to win every game, but they need to play consistently.
Yeah. If they're able to play,
we need a good November.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I'll say.
No more trips.
In the defensive end, especially, I think they shouldn't have an issue making the playoffs this year.
Agreed. Were you just about to say no more trips to Europe, Blake?
Yes, unfortunately I did. No more Sweden trips because that seems to do them in. I don't know
what. Well, they should come to the UK. There's a lot of talk about the NHL wanting to come back to the UK. I would be all over that if they came to the UK. And you know what? I'd personally show around any of the Sens sort of media team. If they want to go on a trip around London or whatever, I will happily walk around with them and I will do it free of charge.
There you
Maybe
go.
for a ticket.
There you
so
go.
We'll see. But anyway, and I know 2 Canadian co-hosts that would come and join me.
The
Toronto,
fun little tidbit here: the uncle of one of the players on the Revelstoke Grizzlies just retired from the Cardiff team.
Oh, the Cardiff Devils.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. See, it's happening. UK, it's the 3rd highest growing sport in the UK, and the UK plays a lot of sports. And so the team I play for, I have to go and I start training at 10:30. No, it's not. I start training at 10:30 p.m. and I finish at near enough midnight. And that's the only time we can get a block of ice over here in the UK because it's so popular now. There's so many people playing. There's not enough ice rinks, and obviously, we don't have the cold winters like you guys have. We have the wet winters. But definitely don't have the cold winters. Hockey has really taken off over here, and I mean you can see that with the World Cup, World Championships. With Team GB got hammered by everyone, but they played really well against Canada, and they still lost. But Connor Bedard up against the Team GB was anyway. But you know what? They're there. They've gone up 3 divisions in the past 5 or 6 years, I think.
That's
Team
pretty
GB.
good.
Wow.
It's really good. They've done amazing. I'm really super proud. And you even see it on the NHL games. They're now rated a lot higher. And those games are put together by scouts and everything. So, but anyway, like I said, it's over here. It's definitely becoming a more sort of popular sport. So
talking about growing sport, Kenya just got their very first IIHF national team.
Did they? Kenya has a double IHF team now. Next thing you'll be telling me Jamaica got a bobsleigh team. Unbelievable. Cool. Right, I think we've done the transactions now. Then the next point I'm really, really intrigued to hear your thoughts on. So, Timmy Stützle, last year had a bit of a down year.
Yeah.
70 points last year for him. Will this guy rekindle, and will he be a 60 to 80 point player this year, or will he be an 80 to 100 point player? Blake, you start, mate.
Well, if he can stay healthy, he can easily surpass 90 plus points. But that's one big if. It's not like we're talking about Josh Norris here, but with regards to Tim Stützle, the sky's the limit for this guy. He can, as we saw with that batted out of the air goal last year against Detroit in the Global Series. The sky's the limit for him. I've seen him dash through defenders, deke through defenders at games, and score some beautiful goals, highlight reel goals. And you know, with him and Brady and Claude Giroux on that top line, you know, I think it's great. Sky's the limit for him.
So that's a pretty resounding sort of 80 to 100 points player this year. What do you think, Brian?
I think he's going to get 85 points this year. I think watching him trying to dangle around all of the first half of last season, just, you know, hoping for the puck to be magnetically glued to his stick like he did the year before. It certainly hurt him in his quest for, you know, putting in Ottawa's need to put pucks in the back of the net.
He does have a weird tape job. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has actually. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Tape job on the blade of his stick.
I thought it was a competition to see who had the biggest knob on the end of their stick.
I was wondering where you were going with that. Well saved. Well saved.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with you. I sort of think he's going to get around the 90 again.
I think 85.
I think he's going to get. Yeah, I'd say he's going to get between 80 to 90 now. I'll tell you why. Personally, last year, he was playing with a wrist injury or an elbow injury or something, wasn't he? That he picked up quite early on in the season. Now, it's sort of coming back to my earlier point with the fact that they've gotten a lot more grittier. They've got older players now as well. Now, when Timmy had that season in 2022 to 23, where he scored the 90 points, they were in a bit of a scenario where Montreal find themselves now, where it's like they've got young players coming through and they play with creative freedom. Like, you know, Slavkovsky last year really came to the fore because there's no pressure on them. If they get playoffs, it's great and, you know, brilliant. But there's no pressure for them to make the playoffs. Now, the year before, it would have been great if they made the playoffs, and they made that run towards the end of the 2022-2023 season, where they just sort of fell off the rails with about 4 or 5 games to go. And Stützle was having, because there was no pressure. But last year, coming into it, 23-24, there was all this expectation, and there was so much expectation on these players' shoulders. They'd lost to Brinkat that year, so okay, the Brinkat didn't actually chip in with an awful lot before, but it was still productivity. They lost Pinto literally the whole season, let's be honest. He only came back. Sens were way out of it by then. They lost Norris last year. That's 3 players that Timmy had to pick up the flack for. And also, you know, I'm trying to explain why I think he got 70 points last year. There was a lot on young shoulders there. A player that's sort of he was carrying the franchise at times last year, because Brady Tkachuk was just unbelievable last year, but they were trying to do everything offensively, and Claude Giroux was trying to do it. But let's give the guy a bit of credit. You know, the guy's 36. I mean, he turns 37 very soon. He might even be 37 now. But you know, Timmy had a lot to do last year. This whole team was a mess last year, and the goaltending we've already touched on. This year, with the additions we've made, with a settled goaltending, with a bit more grit going forward, there's going to be less for Timmy to do. He can concentrate on what he does best, and that's dangling and scoring. And you know what? I think it would be absolutely... When I wrote that question, I thought there is no way any of us are going to go for 60 to 80 points. I think you're right, Brian. I think it's going to be around. I think it's going to be between 80 and 90 points. I'd be amazed if he gets under that. But I would be overjoyed if he goes above that. I would just love it. I love the guy's effort, and and playing injured as well. My favourite player is Thomas Chabot, and I'm a big fan of Thomas Chabot ever since he came into the league, and he played injured this year as well. So one of my favourite things, I regret I didn't do it, but at the Global Series where we were front row, at the end of the tunnel, Thomas Chabot came out and he was standing there with Tyler Cleven, Zach McEwen, and I think someone else. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, there was 4 players in front of us, and I sort of called out Thomas, and he turned around and started chatting to me. And I was like, it was so good just to be able to chat to the guy. And I should have got this jersey signed, but I was so like in that moment and like thinking, like, I'm actually chatting to this guy, and he was telling me about his injury and stuff. Like, yeah, I should be back really soon, and that was a real sort of cool thing. But anyway, totally sort of transition there. But anyway, I think all day long next season he's going to be a sort of 80 to 90 point player without a doubt. He's going to have less. Here's
a good stat for you. So the 2022-2023 season, Tim Stützle's shooting percentage was 17.1%.
Yep.
Last season, it was 9.4%. He got 228 shots on goal in the 2022-2023 season. Last year, 23-24, he got 192 shots. All of his goals from the 2022, from 2 years ago, were from the either right in front of the net or center and off to the right side of the net, offensive right side. Whereas last year he got 1 goal off on that side and hardly any on the other side either, but it's more than 0.
And 1 power play goal from memory last year. That was it, and that was against San Jose, 32nd team in the league at the time, which I heard the other day. So,
oh boy. Poor old San Jose.
They lost, I think it was either in October or November of last year. They lost 2 consecutive games where they gave up at least 10 goals.
Yeah.
In those 2 games. Like it was, to say it was an on-ice dumpster fire was an understatement.
I remember that the image of that one
they
little
were like
kid.
last year's version of the Chicago White Sox this year.
Yeah, I remember specifically the image of that one little kid who had the sign, my very first San Jose Sharks sign, and they lost 11-1 or something like that.
They were 8-0 down. They were 8-0 down after the first period, weren't they, or something? It was something ridiculous like that, and it's like I think they gave
them free tickets.
I hope they did.
You would have to, wouldn't you?
You would have to. It just
That's tragic. The thing is, that's going to stick that poor kid now for the rest of his life. He's going to have that TV footage following him around. So it's like, but okay. So I think we'll all agree Tim Stützle is going to have a bounce back year this year.
He is. He's going to have matured, and the team around him is going to have matured as well.
It's going to happen. Now I'm going to ask you this question. I like the Stützle one. When I was thinking of these questions, I was trying to think of stuff that hadn't. I mean, the Stützle one's been asked a few times, but I haven't heard many people ask this one on the podcast I listen to and things like that. But what do you think one thing that's going to happen this season? It could be Sens qualify for the playoffs, or like I said earlier, it could be a complete overhaul of the roster if they're out of it by November. So Blake, one thing you think might happen this season?
One thing I would like to have happen, or one thing I want to have happen?
One thing you think might happen, probably.
Well, before I answer that, the one thing I want to have happen is for Ridley Gregg or someone else to do another empty net point-blank slap shot against the Leafs in the dying seconds of a game.
That's got Perron written all over it.
Yes. And then Morgan Riley will have a little temper tantrum and then get suspended for a few games. But
that would be great.
You just make that Ottawa's signature move, just a clap bomb into an empty net before the buzzer goes.
Yeah.
They just hold off to make sure the goalie gets pulled every game against
the
Leafs. Just off you go.
Yeah. So, but versus what I think will happen, I think Ottawa will at the very least compete for a wild card spot. And that's what I'm expecting them to do. At the bare minimum, they have to compete for a wild card spot. They have to be playing meaningful hockey games in February, March, April, and for the whole season, basically. They have to play meaningful hockey games if they want to have a chance of making the playoffs, because the Atlantic Division this year is going to be an absolute bloodbath. You've got the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. You've got the Bruins, who are always perennial playoff contenders. You've got the Leafs. Mind you, they lose in the first round, but you still make the playoffs. You know, I mean, to be fair, we still have more playoff series wins than they do in the last 20 years.
I heard that. That is an insane stat. I heard that a couple of weeks ago.
I saw a graphic on Facebook the other day.
It's because it imploded.
I saw a graphic on Facebook the other day that showed that not only do the Toronto Maple Leafs pay almost the most per beer at a hockey game, they also drink the most too.
Is that so?
Yes.
That makes
Drowning their sorrows.
Drowning the sorrows. It makes complete sense, really.
Empty out the liquor cabinets at home.
Yep.
Well, I think you're right on the whole wild card thing. I think that's a decent shout. I think that's what they're aiming for this year.
Personally, I don't like the wild card format. I think the NHL should go back to the 1-8 formula. It's simpler.
Yeah, I agree.
It's easier to understand, and you don't have to rely on this division-based format where it's possible for 5 teams from one division to make the playoffs, whereas the other division, only 3 teams would make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Normally it would be 4-4, but there are circumstances that have happened where 5 and 3 would make it.
Yeah, I get it. Wasn't there a team last year that got in? Wasn't it the Islanders that got in because they had less overtime losses or something?
I think it was
like
Washington.
It was
Washington got in last year.
It was
40 wins.
Yeah, it was them. You're right. Yeah, I heard that earlier today. Funny enough, but
and then they promptly.
What about you, Brian?
Me, I think I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it simple because I don't want to pump up my hopes too much. I think Ottawa is gonna have a more consistent season. I think Ottawa is gonna play consistently through the month of November. They're not gonna.
That's mine.
They're. You don't you? I think that they are gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna play consistently through the month of November, and their season isn't gonna be completely derailed by it. Mm-hmm. And then a knock on from that, I think they will compete for a wild card spot, and people aren't going to be wanting to. All their players are not going to be wanting to jump ship. Yeah.
So I'm in agreement with you. My one thing I've got written down here is November. I've just got November underlined.
Yeah.
If we just take a few wins out of November, I don't care a few overtime losses as long as we get a point.
Yeah, loser points, man. Those
here,
are things are great.
That they add up over a season, and I think it's got to be enough of November every year is the 1 month that no matter what season it was over the past 2 or 3 years, it's always been the killer for us, and we've either been out of it by Christmas,
by American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Then unless you go on a run like the Edmonton Oilers did last year. Where
that was insane, wasn't it?
Where they won, I think it was 16 or 17 games in a row. They went the entire January without losing a game.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That was a special team, because to go all the way to the final, go down 3-0, and then come back to tie the series. I mean, if I was the coach of the Edmonton Oilers after that loss, I would say, you know what, guys. You guys put a hell of an effort in. Yeah, we lost. We ultimately came up short of our goal, but this is a special team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's well put. I mean, the whole November thing, I think if you can just get a few wins together, and also that builds confidence coming into the Christmas period, especially if you've got a big stretch on the road, 13 games on the road. That will be the stick that people will beat the Sens with at the end of the season if they don't qualify for the playoffs. It will be the whole thing. Well, they had a 13-game road stretch, but yeah, okay, that's fair enough. There's a lot of travelling in there, but at the same time, if you can pull some wins together in November that we have not done over the past few years, that's going to make up for any sort of shortfall that we have in that 13 game span. So I'm not expecting us to win every game. I think this year this team is a lot more balanced, so I can see us getting more wins than previous seasons each month. And any improvement in November is going to help the points total at the end of the year, isn't it? Let's be honest. So, but that being said, like you said, I just hope, the one thing I hope doesn't happen is that they miss the playoffs, because that would just be, I mean,
that would be disastrous.
Players are going to want out. Now, you could probably argue if players do want out, the Sens are going to get a king's ransom for the players, because they don't have to trade them, because they've got long contracts and stuff like that. Yes, they'll be unhappy, they'll be disgruntled, but you know what? If they don't have to trade them, they don't have to trade them. But I think they will, and they'll get a king's ransom back if they trade the players. Like, you know, I think Stützle will stick around, but I don't think. And like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't blame Kachuk at the end of the year. If they haven't qualified for the playoffs, he's seen his brother win a Stanley Cup, and he's let's be honest, the Panthers are going to qualify again this year. How they do it, I don't think they had the best team last year, but you know, that's just me. I honestly thought the Oilers were going to win it last year with the run they had, but you know, that didn't happen, obviously. But yeah, you know, he's going to want out and stuff like that, so I get that, and you know, I'm not sort of just saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that's my worst fear. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Improvement in November and a wild card minimum. A wild card, they've got to be competing for it at least. If they get close, you know, if you miss out like by a few points, it's still a failure. But from where we've come from last year, and if Timmy Stützle has an amazing season again, and Linus Ullmarks signed up for another year, we get Yakimchuk probably coming through at that stage as well. Tyler Cleven's got another year under his belt. You know, Sanderson's made that position his own, and hopefully
your contract, they have some faith in him.
Yeah, exactly. And also, let's hope that Josh Norris has had a good season, because if he comes off of a solid season, not even a solid season, just a season where he plays all the games, like Jacob Chikrin played all 82 games last year, so it's like that never happened. So, but anyway, yes, okay, so we're all in agreement. So we're pretty much on the same there. It's sort of November and wild card minimum. But let's just see what happens there. But so players to watch. Is there anyone that you're keen to see, and anyone you think is gonna do big things this coming year? Anyone you think, Blake?
Now it might not happen this year, but I think eventually Tim Stützle is going to hit 50 goals.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year. It would be nice if it sure would be nice if he did, but I think eventually Timmy's going to hit 50 goals.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That would be pretty amazing. I mean, look, if he improves this year, and this, like I said earlier, and this team takes off. I mean, he scored a pretty nice goal against Pittsburgh the other night. You know, it was a pretty nice goal. Sort of coming in off the, but yeah, I mean, just he looks more confident this year. And another thing also I want to touch on with Tim Stützle is that last year I remember watching a few of the breakaway videos, and they did one with Stützle training in the off season with Mo Sider. He said, "Oh, this year I'm trying to bulk up, trying to, you know, become a bit more physical and stuff." And I can't help but think as the Senators take a 6-3 lead now, Drake Batherson. Jesus. If only that was real. Anyway, yeah, he bulked up a lot last year. Now, sometimes if you bulk up, that can change your game. So I just hope last year maybe he bulked up a bit too much. Maybe he changed his game, and obviously he got injured as well. So maybe this year, you know, he's come back. You know, the strengths and the strong points of his game and stuff. Maybe he hasn't gone too mad on the weights and stuff over the off season. But anyway, yeah, I totally agree. I think Stützle could definitely hit 50 goals, whether it's this season or next season. Who knows? Could be this season. But so is that who you're going for, Blake?
Yeah.
Solid choice. What about you, Brian?
Angus Crookshank. I think Angus Crookshank's going to come, and he's going to play over 30 games with the Sens this season. I think Zach McEwen is going to have an injury, and then he's going to get replaced for a long time by Angus Crookshank.
Oh, that's dark.
Everybody's
He's gonna have a really nasty injury.
Everybody's gonna fall in love with Angus Crookshank and start chanting the beef at the CTC.
What's your beef, bro?
Beef.
We said we wanted Blake in the first recording, which I didn't record. This one is still recording, by the way, an hour and 5 minutes.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, we wanted to see if Blake could get a beef chant going. Beef. Just
Angus the Beef Crookshank. I really want that to be his nickname.
That is, even if
like
you can, Blake. Even if you can just send a video of you shouting it out in the seats, I would just be amazed. Beef, and then, one day it's just gonna take off. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not. I'm not sort of. This is a retro gaming channel that I put up all this stuff on. This is not going to get a lot of views, this video, so this will be hidden away. And then when this chant starts, after you started it, Blake, someone will find this video, and then they'll go, "This is where it started from," and then that'll be it. You'll be a celebrity, Blake. This is what it is. Do it, you coward. Do it. Start
I'll be
saying
like
beef.
But the girl.
And then my second prediction is that JBD is going to have a 30-point season.
Oh, okay.
Going to double his point output.
Big step up.
Yeah,
that is a big step up. What did he get this year? Wasn't it 21?
Yeah, he got 14 points. He got 4 goals and 10 assists.
Sorry.
Played 72 games.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to step up, and I think he's going to put together a 30-point season.
Oh, that's good. I like that. See, that's the sort of thing I was hoping to get, like someone like that. So I've gone pretty safe on one of mine. That is a brilliant call. So I'm going to watch that. So 30 points for JBD, right? 30
points for JBD. Yep.
Oh, that's going to be good to watch. I'm intrigued by that. And the fact is, we've got this on camera as well. We can go back. So I'm going to go. And this could go horribly wrong as well. I'm going to go for a big season for Thomas Chabot. I think he's going to find his form again. I think he's had some surgery on his wrist. I think it was wrist surgery over the off season. Mm-hmm. He's looked decent in pre-season as well. And again, with a few of those duties now taken off his plate, with Jensen coming in, and you've got, like I said, Yakimchuk, who's been pretty surprising. They've got Jensen, like I said, and they've got Cleven coming through as well. So they've got such a good group now coming through in those areas, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time before his ice time isn't as high, which means that he's in better condition to play more. So people should be able to step up and play some more minutes this year. So I'm hoping for a big bounce back season for Thomas Chabot, and also I'm a massive Tyler Cleven guy. I absolutely love Tyler Cleven. I really, really hope he nails a roster spot as the on the third pairing this year. I really, really hope he pushes this year, because I think this could be a really, really big thing for the Sens if they can get another defenseman coming through who's highly touted, been there, done it. And imagine if some of these youngsters start to get playoff experience. It's only going to whet their appetite, and that will just be it. It will just be an explosion, and hopefully we'll be back to, say, like 2005 to 2009, and then obviously the playoffs in the mid sort of teens when they went there. The year escapes me, 2017, wasn't it? So
yeah. The one thing I will have to mention though is if and when they make the playoffs, they're going to have to win a Game 7 eventually. Because the Senators, as of right now, I believe they're 0-5 or 0-6 in Game 7s throughout their history.
Wow, I never knew that.
They have never won a Game 7.
They're going to be done.
So they're all their big boy players, everyone for that matter, is if you get to a Game 7, even if it's in the first round, you got to step up. The playoff hockey is a lot more intense than it is in the regular season. So everybody's going to have to step up and chip in.
Fair point.
Yeah, because you
can't argue with that.
To win a big game, and Game 7 is no exception.
Yeah, well, I think the points that we've all made there, I think there's some good sort of points there for players coming through and having breakout seasons this year. I mean, one thing I would say, it's going to be interesting to see how Shane Pinto does this year, because he's a full year, he's got a contract, but he's got these are 2 big years for him now. I think, is he 24? Shane Pinto.
I will let you know.
Is he a bit? I think it's 23 or 24.
Let me see.
So the only reason I
Pinto
say
is
that
23 years old.
23. So this bridge deal that he's got, 2-year bridge deal. He's got a decent term on it with pay, but this is a big thing for Shane Pinto. If he can have a 2 solid years where he produces, I think the Sens one hand are going to have problems because they're going to have to sign him longer term, and by that time you've got players like by that time after 2 years you'll have Cleven's deal coming up because he burnt a year last year. You're going to have some of the youngsters, so Yakimchuk will probably be on the roster by then as well. You're going to have to sign a replacement probably for Nick Jensen around that time as well. You'll have Ullmarks' contract as well. So all of this stuff is going to be eaten into the team's money. You've probably got Claude Giroux's deal coming off the books by then. But I think there's going to be some real interesting contracts coming up for sure for the Sens in the next few years. So
I can't imagine Claude wanting to go anywhere. He grew up around Ottawa.
I think it's just whether the Sens will be able to keep him even.
I think it's going to be a matter of. I think Claude is going to be depending. I think what will end up happening is they'll either do a 1 or 2 year extension, or he's just going to hang it up because I can't see him wanting to go anywhere else. He's got a family, and
that's it.
He wants to end his career in Ottawa.
So I think if they did anything with Giroux, it's going to be another year at least. Because especially if they get playoffs, that would just be so gutting. If they got playoffs and then he retired, if they went out in the first round, that would just be, be awful. Anyway, so we come to the last question before we open some sticker packs.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to these. These have been on my desk, I kid you not, for about a month, and I've tried not to open them, and I haven't yet. But anyway, so we've got some there. Look at that. So the last question is playoffs. And you know what, Blake? I'll give you a rest from going first because I'm going to go here.
All right.
And I think we've already touched on it. I'm saying yes to playoffs. Now, I said yes last year. And I didn't the year before. But I said yes last year. After the year Stützle had the year before that, I was so convinced last year. And I watched... So I got really, really into the... it was called Twitter back then. Back in my day, when all these fields were not houses and stuff like that. Back in my day, when Twitter was called Twitter, not X. YouTube, obviously, and Instagram, I was watching absolutely everything. I couldn't get enough of the content because the Sens were at the playoffs and they were still... Locked On Sens was still putting out loads of content. Sentinel was doing stuff as well. And I really bought into it. I watched all the draft coverage. I was like, right, this year's going to be the year. And it felt like the England football team again, getting those hopes up for it all to fall apart so badly. And
I'm still...
it's not... It's something. It's a well-trodden road for me with following the England national team. Anyway, I bought into the hype. I was all there with it, and Jonas Korpisalo was God. More like Jonas Krapasalo, unfortunately. But this year I'm quietly confident. I think they've done some great off-season additions, and I think it's going to be good to watch the Sens this year. I really do. And I think if they can just get close to the playoffs this year or have a really sustained, decent season, good things are going to come. They should be able to sign Ullmark. They should have progression from their young core. And if they get playoffs, they're going to get experience. And they're 3 key things, I think, for this season. And that all stems from a playoff run or just reaching the playoffs, in my opinion. So what about, let's go Brian next.
This year, I think the Ottawa Senators are going to make the playoffs. I don't know how. I hope it's not in the wild card slot.
November. That's how they're going to do it. November.
Exactly.
That's how they're going to do it. Brian.
Exactly.
That's how they're going to do it.
But yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs this year for sure. For sure.
I cannot argue with that at all.
Yeah.
Blake, we finally get to you.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
yep, they're going to make the playoffs. That's it. Anyway, thank you. Good night, everyone. Short and sweet from Blake.
yeah. Well, like you both mentioned, they have to have a good November. Obviously, they're not going to win every game, but playing good hockey for the first 15, 20 games of the season, that'll more than likely translate into playing meaningful games, February, March, and April. They have 8 home games in the month of April and 1 road game. There's no excuse by this point.
That's it. The accountability and the excuses.
So to answer your question, yes, but I'm very cautiously optimistic. I don't want to get my hopes up too high in case we crash and burn again, but I'm really, really hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think it will. I have faith in the players, and I have faith in management and ownership that they made the right moves over the offseason. I was kind of bummed out to see Matthew Joseph go, especially for next to nothing. But we needed the cap space.
Yeah.
Put it bluntly.
Well, I think that's 3 yeses across the board for the playoffs. So I'm all good with that. So a jump cut in the video, guys. As you can see, the game playing has become very tense indeed. We fast forwarded it. It's 10-9 Maple Leafs because we are coming to the end of the video now, and I wanted you to see how this game plays out. Now, I wasn't playing this game. I didn't say. I wasn't very clear. And also, let's just touch on the jerseys, the classic jerseys. I went for 2007 retro jerseys. But anyway, this game, I wanted to see the end because it's computer simulated. All I did was revise the rosters, made Austin Matthews captain for the Maple Leafs and all that good stuff. And then I totally redid the Sens roster along with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But it is a cliffhanger, this game. So anyway, so we've come to the end of the actual video. But I told the guys to get some stickers or some cards, just as a bit of a fun way to finish it off. Unfortunately, Blake wasn't able to get hold of any. But we will correct that because we're going to do some more videos down the line because we've just chatted whilst I was forwarding this. It's been good fun, and I think there's plenty of stuff for us to get our teeth into with more episodes. So, Brian, so what packs have you gone for?
I have a 2022, 2023. Where are we here? Yeah, 2022, 2023 MVP pack.
Nice.
And a 2023, 2024 MVP pack. These are actually pretty hard to find down here in Spokane. Nobody carries hockey cards except for like one shop.
Well, you want to try living in the UK, my friend, because the first pack that you showed, I'd ordered 2 packs from this guy in the UK, and he sent me these. Now, apparently, these are the worst hockey cards that you can buy. The reviews of these cards, it was a really, really bad stack. They are called Upper Deck 2020-2021. So during the COVID years, collect the Young Guns rookie cards. So I have no idea what's going to be in here, but I'm excited. These have sat on my desk for, I kid you not, about a month. I've wanted to open these. So shameless plug. I have.
Wouldn't it be great if Angus Crookshank was in one pack?
Wouldn't it be great? Now, I also have a retro football channel, 90s soccer channel, and I have sticker packs from 1998. So I'm not. These are a lot easier for me to come by. So but the problem is these all fall apart. So totally different, but yeah. So a shiny there, Blackburn Rovers kit. Just anyway. So this has been literally, or they're called Black Eye Rovers. They call them. Who was the team you actually went to watch Pompey play, Brian? When you came?
Did we beat them
with Robbie
3-0.
Savage playing? Anyway, 3-0. Love
Yeah.
it. Great days. Anyway, we've jumped to the side there. So anyway, I am over the moon to get these, and it's probably going to start a very, very expensive habit for me now. So anyway, Brian, send me cards.
You got it, dude.
Brian, you go first. You're going to open first, and what we're going to ask people to do in the comments, if anyone's actually watched this video, is to let us know who you think has won on the card selections.
All right, we're going to look at these together.
Let's go.
This is a Ryan Sutter.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. This is a Matt Duchesne.
Matt Duchesne, he used to play for the Sens.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
I should know that.
We can edit that.
He's a year older than me. He's from Halliburton. There we go. Matt Dumba.
Yeah, nearly signed with the Sens in the off-season.
There you go. He's from Regina, Saskatchewan.
I think he went to Dallas, didn't he, Blake?
I'm not sure. I know he played with Minnesota for quite a while.
10 points. Johnny Gaudreau.
Oh, man.
Oh!
What a sad news.
Yeah.
What sad news.
Yeah, that is awful. I mean...
Well, rest in peace, Johnny.
Yeah, man. Dude, that's brutal.
Johnny Hockey, rest in peace. That actually, no, that's very apt. Very apt. So I commend you for picking that pack.
Thank you. So I have whatever this card is an MVP card. And I have another Johnny Gaudreau.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. It's meant to be. Oh, it's the Calgary days as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
He got traded to the Blue Jackets, then he signed with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Bobby Brink.
Bobby Brink, yeah.
It's almost as good of a name as Radic Bonk. You ask me.
Oh
my goodness.
Who you got now?
Alex Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic. And then we have Charlie McAvoy.
Charlie McAvoy, nice. Yeah, decent, decent year last year. So, okay, so I'm going for the first card opening of the really bad card series. So, I've been really sad recently. I've been watching people open packs of old hockey stickers from 1992 onwards on Instagram. Very sad, but anyway. So, it's a really small screen here, so I'm going to have to... Actually, I'll use my phone to have a look as well. So, we have... actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. So we have Torrey Krug.
Solid.
Yeah, good player. We have Dylan Gambrell, former Sen. So he actually went to the Sens. I think he was traded from... Wasn't he sent over in the Carlson deal, Blake? Gambrell? No, he wasn't. He was signed. He was traded. No, I'm pretty sure they picked him up on waivers actually in the COVID season. Yeah.
The only trades in history where Ottawa actually won the trade.
It was free. We've got Thomas Hedl.
Hertel, yeah, a German.
Hertel is Hertel. I should know that. Yeah, German pronunciations for football. But he had been with the Sharks before. Yeah, because he was pretty big. I seem to recall. He was very good on the NHL games. Oh, Derek Stepan for the Senators.
Cool.
So he wasn't with the Senators for... What is the term you guys use? A cup of coffee? So he was with you guys for a cup of coffee, is what I always hear. So, yeah. So, we have Thomas Harley, what we would call a shiny in the UK. Blackburn Rovers-esque. Oh, sorry, throwing those down. We have Connor Hellebuck. You know what? This hasn't been a bad pull so far.
Solid.
Connor Hellebuck's pretty good. We have Kevin Shattenkirk. Not a bad player. And Noah Dobson. Had a good season last year, I seem to recall Noah Dobson. I don't think he plays for them anymore. I think he plays for... Oh no, he might play for the Islanders still. No, don't worry about that. That's fine. Okay, so I think the winner from that, obviously, has to be... I'd say Connor Hellebuck's pretty good. But obviously, Derek Stepan, an absolute legend player. Look, you know, the Senators couldn't get enough money to keep the guy. So, yeah. But, yeah, so... Connor Hellebuck, I think, is the winner in that for me. So much talk about them signing him last season, wasn't there, Connor Hellebuck?
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. Oh man, this is definitely starting a habit.
So we crack open the second pack.
You go for it. You go for it.
All right.
It's still 10-9. It's tense.
We have Simon Varlamov.
Varlamov, yeah.
We have Alexander Wenberg.
Nice.
Oh, we've got a Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh. Is that yeah, of course, he'll be at Florida then, won't he? So.
Heck yeah. We've got a Jordan Kyrou.
Nice.
St. Louis Blues.
Yep. We have a Taylor Hall.
Oh, is that what? Oh, that's before the trade when he was at Boston, because he's at Chicago now, isn't he?
Got Jamie Benn.
That's a good pack.
Dallas Stars veteran.
Oh, you're going to love this one. Drew Doughty.
Drew Doughty.
Heck yeah.
I think
And then
this
we've
is
got
a
a
big pack.
We've got a Jared Spurgeon.
Yep.
With the Wild. I think that's a good one. Definitely a winner for me
That's a
in
good
here.
pack. I think that's the best pack so far. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Drew Doughty because I'm a pretty big Drew Doughty fan.
yeah, you can't fault what that guy's achieved with when he went there, when he got drafted. They were a bad team. So
Yeah.
Anyway, so the last pack of disappointing cards. So what we'll do next time, Blake, we'll definitely all get some cards. I think we'll get some and we'll all open them. Maybe we'll try and get the same series. So right. Okay, so turn them over. So I thought I'd open the same card pack here. Torrey Krug again. Dylan Gambrell again.
Oh no!
No, just that. No, I'm not. Oh my god, this is. The next card's the same as well. Look, okay, Dylan Gambrell twice, right? Torrey Krug, just to show you I'm not making this up. These are two different packs I've opened. Hence why I got. Yeah, they're both open. Right, not kidding you.
Yep.
It's like it's Groundhog.
Okay. Thomas Hedel.
Alrighty.
Two of those as well. Oh, the legend. Oh, I'm so glad I got this guy. Oh man, that is an absolute win. Okay, we've got Derek Stepan.
Sens legend.
Sens legend. Which yeah, it's good actually because I always like to have the two cards. So yeah, Derek Stepan. So that's 4 for 4, the same packs. Oh, we do have a different one here. Alex Pietrangelo. That's a nice card actually.
Champion with the Blues.
Yeah, this one's called Dazzler. As well, Dazzlers, which sounds a bit dodgy, but and we've got yeah, just to return to form, we've got another Connor Hellebuck. I don't know what's gone wrong with these stickers. It's almost like they've these. Just to prove again, this is the same card. I've got two. It's the. I didn't think I thought it was random. They did all this stuff. Maybe I'll buy two different sets. We've got the legend that is Kevin Shattenkirk, not once, but we've also got him twice. So yeah,
There you go.
that's good. I'm not gonna. You know what? This bad set of cards is actually living up to its. Has that paused? It has, hasn't it? Oh no, we've lost some time there. Sorry, didn't realise that stopped.
If you want,
And the last one, Noah Dobson. So
there you go.
Yeah.
They do
There's
sell
one different card.
at this shop that I was at. They do sell like the entire box of this season's MVP cards. They have them for sale.
See if
I
we
can
do
pick
that.
up a-
Do it.
I can pick
Oh,
up
the
the
Sens have
box.
equalised. Look at that. The Sens are equalised. Who is it? Ridley Gregg.
Big.
Nice. How fitting.
So he scored the first goal Sens scored and possibly the last. So they've just equalised. Man, what a cliffhanger. That is a real disappointment. I'll tell you what, I can't do with getting a whole box full of Derek Stefans. I'm not being funny. I can't do that. Connor Hellebuck maybe, but that is crazy. I can understand why these why these cards are so badly reviewed, because I bought 2 packs there and they are literally the same cards. You know, I've got like double of everything apart from one of them. I got Thomas Harley, and the other pack I got Alex Pietrangelo. So yeah, if I'm going to give you guys that, the Sens have scored again. Michael Amadio.
Nice.
Have the Sens snuck it in the last seconds? Have they done it? Yeah, so if anything has come from this video for you guys, don't buy these cards, because they are ridiculous. Why would you buy these cards? So,
are those the upper deck ones?
They are upper deck. Very, very disappointing.
They sell at the Canadian.
I will definitely not be buying those again. So yeah, we'll have to get some cards for next time. So can the Sens hold out a minute? Can they see it out? But it's a cliffhanger. Look. Oh. So guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sorry I didn't hit record first time.
It's all right.
But that's pretty standard, as I did moan about the technical issues I had with StreamYard before we even started. So yeah, and you know what? I'm not even disappointed by these cards getting doubled up, because it's you know what? It's been good to catch up. This isn't going to be a podcast or anything that's like totally, you know, we're going to go into all the tactics and stuff like that. This is just 3 mates chatting about stuff, reconnecting, and catching up after so long. It's been a fair while. We've all been busy. Obviously, Brian's in his new place now, and yeah, I think we're going to make this semi-regular, because it'll be good to catch up. Maybe we'll do a watch-along game. That might be quite funny.
I can give you guys some Revelstoke Grizzly updates for some second tier.
Let's do that.
Second tier.
And maybe
junior hockey.
Maybe I'll head to a Guildford Flames game just down the road with a flaming G instead of a flaming C. So yeah, you guys, gimmick copyright infringement is not yet visible. Oh, the Sens have won.
Excellent.
So I don't think I cut the video off before you see the tallies at the end. But what a nail biter! 10 for the Maple Leafs, 11 for the Sens. So I just realised Ullmarks still got his Bruins hat there, his Bruins helmet. So look at Sparta-Cat.
Heck yeah!
Absolutely loving it. Look at the strut that man has. So absolute beast. So anyway, guys, as we've seen, the Sens have cleaned up there. Will they clean up in the 24-25 season? We all think they will. We think they're playoff bound. But what do you guys think? And also, if you can recommend any different cards, there we go. Look at the look at the totals.
Oh, I gotta
97.
97, 74. Toronto hits 98 to 72. Wow, that's
Yep.
It's pretty immense. That was a game. So,
Ottawa went 3 for 14 on the power play, and Toronto went 2 for 10.
Yeah, it's all in the stats. All in the stats. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this
no problem
episode. And
reconvene halfway through November.
I think we've got to do something for sure. I think that would be what we'll do is we'll work something out where we can all catch up again, and we'll do a recap. Good. Yeah, it's got to be. I think it's got to be pre-November as well, if they've had a good season. For sure. And then maybe before Christmas, we'll do one when it's all fallen off.
Yeah, I got a jet though. I'm going to be late for dinner.
No, you go, man. You go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.